Favorites to make the Super Bowl in the AFC meeting up in Baltimore. Jacksonville leads the NFL with 10 passing touchdowns. Allen second with 9. Josh Allen has the third highest QBR, and Jackson is second. What a matchup. Lamar speaking today on the big AFC matchup against, specifically, Josh Allen.
Very mutual respect between one another, but he's in Buffalo and I'm over here in Baltimore, so it can't be no hanging out and stuff like that. But when we see each other, we show respect among each other.
Lamar, how do you handle kind of the outside praise? A lot of people buzzing about you and your hot start. How do you kind of handle it when you see it?
I don't feed into it. I play ball. That's all. I don't feed into it because they were just saying what they were saying. I'm still hungry about that. It's the beginning of the season.
The champ is here. Super Bowl champ Keyshawn Johnson joining us now on SportsCenter. You talk about this Ravens offense. They're just now getting J.K. Dobbins back. They're still really finding the rhythm, and the last Lamar Jackson having like a career start. What did he know about betting on himself that we did not know at the time?
Well, you trust yourself, El. And anytime you trust yourself, you're going to bet on yourself. Could I have done that? I don't know. But when I look at it more now as a basketball type deal, because you say, hey, he gets whatever he gets this year. Then 2 years after that, if he decides he doesn't want to do a deal, they're going to franchise him, not letting him walk out the door. And now he gets that money, plus he gets a chance 3 years from now to get even a bigger deal if he can't come to terms at the end of the season.
We thought that, right? Like gambling on himself. But again, there's always like the added incentive of maybe not worrying about injuries and those kinds of things. And also, how do you improve on he was an MVP level quarterback, right? So to improve on that seems incredible. We've got a fun one on Thursday night, by the way, Dolphins-Bengals. It reunites Tyreek Hill and Eli Apple and the Cincy secondary, who have a little bit of history. They don't like each other. There's some animus. There's certainly been some trash talking. Is that a real element to game planning, sort of playing on the emotion and adversity between players?
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, from a player standpoint, when you trash talking somebody, whether it's through social media now or on the actual field, it can fuel you no problem at all, right? I mean, people feel that way. It's like Eli Apple is really trash in their mind, and he thinks he can cover him, and they're trash in his mind. And so it can go back and forth, but nobody's in their game plan and saying, okay, we're going to target Eli Apple because he trash talks.
Right. Who was your favorite trash talker? Who was the best?
To be honest with you, El, people really didn't get at me like that. Sam Madison would just kind of chirp a little bit, but they never really got at me. I was more of the one chirping, right? I was the one.
Oh, you were the trash talker.
Oh, big trash. Oh,
what was your go-to? Safe for work.
What was my go-to?
What was your go-to?
Some of the stuff, El.
Yeah.
I can't repeat.
Okay.
It would be, I had names, I had it all. Oh, I had some story. I got some stories.
Would you prepare them? Like, would you go into a game knowing I'm going to say this specifically to this person?
No. Here's one that's a funny one. So I had my shoe deal was with Adidas, right?
Okay.
And at this time, there was not a lot of players that had individual licensed shoe deals. And I was with Adidas, the Three Stripes. And some dude was still wearing ponies, right? So wait, check this out. So he was talking trash to me. I said, man, what type of shoes you got on? It just fell out laughing. Another one, a kid, DB, was talking trash to me. And we have medical plans in the National Football League. And he had a jack-o'-lantern mouth, really spread out with the teeth. So what I told him, wait, check this out. I said, man, we do got dental plans in the NFL, bruh. But that was me.
Did you just call him jack-o'-lantern mouth? Keyshawn.
You asked me, El.
He hit him with a, what are those? Keyshawn's coming back soon, and he's going to give us a list of the worst dental plans in the NFL. Jack-o'-lantern teeth.
Right around the corner, Halloween.
I'm sorry I asked, Kevin. God.
After 4 weeks, the latest All-State playoff predictor has some familiar names still at the top. Alabama, Ohio State, the defending champs, Georgia, sitting there at third with 72% to make the playoff. Meanwhile, the Crimson Tide, they have an 85% chance to make the playoff and the best number to win it all. Alabama is favored by FPI to win each of their remaining games by double digits, but it won't be easy for the Crimson Tide to remain undefeated. October will not be fun as they face ranked teams for 3 straight weeks, including October 8th. That matchup, Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher. Then they're on the road against LSU and Ole Miss in November. It's great to have college football analyst Roddy Jones here with us. What concerns do you have about Alabama, specifically over the next 3 weeks?
Well, I want to see them develop in a couple of areas. And let's start at the receiver position. This Alabama team, we've become accustomed to them just printing first-rounders at receiver, and they haven't quite gotten there yet with this group. Trayshawn Holden is still coming along. Jahmyr Gibbs, a running back who can do everything, is their second leading receiver. So they're going to have to develop on the outside. And then on the other side, it's the secondary. When Quinn Ewers was in the game against them when they played Texas, that secondary seemed very susceptible. And so you're going to have to score points, especially when you look at that game against Tennessee. Arkansas put up a ton of yardage and a ton of points last year, so that secondary is going to need to come along too.
We're going to keep an eye on this development in October. Bama's tough stretch starts. Number 20, Arkansas on Saturday. ACC, big top 10 showdown between NC State and Clemson. When you look at the Tigers, where are they most vulnerable heading into this weekend against the Wolfpack?
It's funny, we talked about the secondary with Alabama. It's the secondary for Clemson. They've been banged up there, but those corners really struggled a week ago, especially when Wake Forest was throwing the ball deep, both making plays and committing pass interference penalties. There were so many of those that gave the Deacons free yardage. They're young, but the composure that they have is lacking at times. And so if NC State, this is weather permitting, but if NC State's able to throw the ball down the field, that secondary.
Time since 2016. Last time they started 4-0 was 2004 when they made it to Super Bowl 39. The Eagles are outscoring their opponents by 12 points per game. Their defense is bringing it, holding opponents to just under 17 points per game. Philly ranks second in sacks with 12, including 9 on Sunday against Carson Wentz and the Commanders. They're most in a game since 2019, but the star of the team has been Jalen Hurts, averaging over 305 passing yards per game. He has 13 offensive plays that have gone over 20 yards, tied for the most this season. Here's Hurts today on the Eagles' strong start.
I'm not going to not acknowledge how pleasant it is to feel the feeling of victory, and how hard it is to get that feeling. You know, we have a lot of great football teams in this league. They get paid too. They work hard just like we work hard. So that's the respect. That's the respect I have for the game, and I think that's the respect we all should have for the game. Winning is hard. Winning is hard, and you have to value that.
Eagles reporter Tim McManus joining us now live from South Philly. Tim, what have you heard from this Eagles coaching staff on the way Hurts has played after 3 games?
Hey, Kevin, well, you can hear it in the way that the coaches are talking about Hurts, that their belief has jumped to even a higher level. Offensive coordinator Shane Steichen saying that if Hurts continues on this trend, it's going to be special. And the game against Washington really fueling that optimism. A couple plays stand out. In particular, the touchdown to Devontae Smith at the end of the first half. Time's running down. Hurts takes over the play calling, dials up something that wasn't even part of the game plan, and it goes for 6. Asking Coach Nick Sirianni about it, he told me that Hurts' accuracy has been really tremendous and that he's seeing what the defense is doing. So some really good signs for the Birds.
Quieting a lot of doubters when it comes to that accuracy question entering the season. Doug Peterson was Hurts' head coach when he was drafted a couple years ago. The former Eagles head coach will be back at the link this weekend for the first time since he was fired following that 2020 season. He had this to say today about that Super Bowl statue of him and Nick Foles outside the stadium.
Personally, I've never seen it in person. And, obviously it's a great honor to have, me and Rocky Balboa, I guess, in the city of Philadelphia, and Nick Foles.
And
but,
Nick, yeah.
But no, I mean, it's an honor. It really is, something that we accomplished, as a team, as an organization, in 2017-18, and yeah, it's just a nice reminder.
Do you ever plan to visit the statue?
Maybe one day after I retire or something like that, but have no plans to anytime soon.
Wow, he's never seen it. That's a stunner in that press conference. Tim, what's the feeling surrounding this team with Peterson coming back?
If you're talking Peterson reunion, you can go right to the veterans. So defensive end Brandon Graham said he might have a little trash talk in store for Peterson on Sunday. It's kind of his thing. But mostly he was talking about his gratitude for Peterson for helping deliver the first championship that he had experienced at any level. Right tackle Lane Johnson credited Peterson for helping to resurrect his career. So some really strong words and a lot of love clearly still in that locker room for Peterson. When I talked to him earlier today, he said that he wasn't sure sure the type of reception that he was going to get at Lincoln Financial Field on Sunday, hoping that it's something close to what Andy Reid received when he came back with the Chiefs, a standing ovation. Kevin, we know that Philly fans can be a lot of things, but ungrateful for a championship, not one of them. I think that Peterson's going to get his flowers on Sunday.
Tim, well said. He will get a standing ovation before kickoff, and then after that, all bets are off. Tim, thank you so much.